You are watching Fair Notebook channel, where learning find clarity.
Welcome to our channel Fair Notebook. Today we are going to learn about the chapter The Constitution of India of class 7th. Ever wondered what rules keep our country running smoothly? Today we start exploring the Constitution of India, the supreme law that shapes our democracy and protects our rights. In this lesson, you will uncover how this amazing document guides the government and promises justice, liberty, equality, and unity for all. Let's dive in and see why the Constitution is so important for every citizen. In this video, we will do lesson summary, activities, and questions answer. After watching this video, you are able to know these concepts. What is a constitution and why do we need one? How was the Indian Constitution prepared? How did our freedom struggle and civilizational heritage influence the Constitution? What are the key features of the Constitution of India? Why is it still relevant even though it was written more than 70 years ago? Introduction of Constitution of India. The lesson starts with a simple everyday picture, a family getting ready to watch the Republic Day parade on television. This special day, January 26th, is celebrated because it is when the Constitution of India officially started to be used in 1950. The lesson points out that our Constitution is an extremely important book, a foundational document that sets all the rules for the country. It is so valuable that the original handwritten book is kept safe inside a glass box filled with helium gas in the Parliament building. This special gas stops the paper and ink from getting old. The Constitution acts as the main rule book for the entire country, and all major leaders, including the president and judges, take a formal promise or oath to always protect and follow the rules written inside it. The purpose and framework of a constitution. A constitution is needed because it works like a rule book for a whole country. Just like a game of kabaddi needs rule to be fair for everyone. This important document sets us how the government will work by dividing its powers into three main parts. These parts are the legislature, which is a group that makes the law for everyone. The executive, which includes leaders who make sure these laws are carried out, and the judiciary, which is the court system that explains the laws and settles disagreements. To make sure no single part becomes too strong, the Constitution creates a system of checks and balance. This means each part can check the power of the others. It also clearly lists the basic rights every person has, the duties they have towards the country, and the big goals the nation hopes to achieve in the future. The making of the Indian Constitution. The long process of creating India's Constitution started in 1946, before the country even gained full independence from the British. A special group called the Constituent Assembly was formed to do this important job. This group was made up of people from all over India, representing different areas, religions, jobs, and communities, and even included 15 women, making sure many voices were heard. For almost 3 years, these members discussed and debated every single detail. The head of this entire assembly was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. A smaller, very important group called the Drafting Committee led by the brilliant Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, wrote the first version of the text. The final version was ready on November 26, 1949, and it officially became our country's rule book on January 26, 1950, which is the date we now celebrate as Republic Day. Influences shaping the Constitution. The people who wrote our Constitution did not just come up with ideas out of nowhere, they were inspired by many things. A very big influence was India's long fight for freedom. The idea that people fought for, like making sure everyone is treated equally and has freedom, were written directly into the Constitution. Our country's own ancient history and culture also provided many important values. Ideas like the world is one family, Vasudev Kutumbakam, and the importance of the ruler's duty to the people were included. The writers also wisely looked at the constitutions of other countries to learn from them. They took good ideas like liberty and equality from France, guidelines for state policy from Ireland, and the idea of having courts that are independent and free from government pressure from the USA. Key features of the Constitution. Our Constitution clearly explains how India's government should be set up and how it should run. It confirms that we have a three-level system of government. One for the whole country, central, one for each state, and one for local areas like villages and cities, Panchayati Raj. At its heart, the Constitution gives us fundamental rights, which are very important promises that every citizen has, like the right to be treated equally. You can go to a court if someone violates these rights. It also lists fundamental duties, which are things every citizen should do to be responsible. A special section contains the Directive Principle of State Policy (DPSP). These are not strict rules but are like goals or directions for the government to follow to make India a better place for everyone. For instance, by trying to make sure everyone has a job and a decent life. A living artistic document. The Constitution is often called a living document because it is not stuck in the past, it can grow and change with the times. The original writers knew that as India grew, new rules might be needed. So they created a process to make changes called amendments. This is why new ideas like the fundamental duties were added later in 1976. This ability to adapt ensures the Constitution always stays useful for the country. But it is more than just a book of laws, it is also a beautiful piece of art. The entire original Constitution was not printed but was carefully handwritten in a lovely flowing style by a person named Prem Bihari Narain Raizada. Furthermore, an artist named Nandlal Bose and his students decorated its pages with beautiful drawings showing scenes from India's great history and culture. The Preamble and its guiding values. The Preamble encapsulates the Constitution's core values: sovereignty, socialism, secularism, democracy, republic, justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. These principles guide both governance and citizen behavior, ensuring India's autonomy, equal treatment across religions, and equitable political rights. The lesson encourages students to identify practical applications of these values in daily life, such as non-discrimination in job opportunities or freedom to practice religion without interference. By fostering these values, the preamble reinforces India's commitment to building a just, inclusive, and harmonious society. Some important points of this lesson. The Constitution of India is a guiding book or rule book which protects the rights of all citizens. Citizens are also expected to follow the fundamental duties of the Constitution. The rich civilization heritage of India, the freedom struggle, and good practices from the constitutions of other countries served as the building blocks of Indian Constitution. Its key features define the social, economic, and political structure of the country and its parliamentary form of government. It is a living document that can be improved as per the country's needs. Answers to the questions given at the beginning of the chapter. Question: what is a constitution and why do we need one? Answer: a constitution is a document that sets a country's basic laws and principles. It defines how the government works, citizens' rights and duties. We need it to ensure fair governance, protect rights, maintain order, and resolve disputes like a rule book for our nation. Question: how was the Indian Constitution prepared? Answer: the Indian Constitution was prepared by the Constituent Assembly, formed in 1946 with 389 members, later reduced to 299. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the chairman and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar led the drafting committee. It took nearly 3 years, was completed on November 26, 1949 and came into effect on January 26, 1950. Question: how did our freedom struggle and civilization heritage influence the Constitution? Answer: the freedom struggle shaped the Constitution with values like equality, justice, and freedom. Leaders from this struggle included these ideals. India's heritage with principles like unity in diversity and Vasudeva Kutumbakam, world is one family, influenced its inclusive framework promoting respect for all cultures. Question: what are the key features of the Constitution of India? Why is it still relevant even though it was written more than 70 years ago? Answer: key features include defining the roles of legislature, executive, and judiciary, ensuring checks and balances, and listing fundamental rights, duties, and directive principles. It's relevant because it is adaptable through amendments, addressing new needs while upholding core values like justice and equality. Answers to the question and activities given in between the lesson. Let's explore activity on page number 211 to 212. Discuss in your group what might have happened if there was no official rule book that the referee and the team captains could refer to. What is required to ensure everyone agrees to abide by the rulebook? What might happen if the team captains did not agree to refer to rulebook at all? Think of a game that you play often and list the rules you follow. Each group will then present their set of rules to the rest of the class. Listen to each presentation, discuss the rules, and work together to decide on a common set of rules for the game. What challenges do you face in reaching a consensus on rules that everyone agrees with? What could be the rule book for a country? How would it be made? Question: what might have happened if there was no official rule book that the referee and team captains could refer to? Answer: without a rule book, the dispute might not have been settled, leading to arguments, unfair decisions, or even the match ending in chaos. Question: what is required to ensure everyone agrees to abide by the rulebook? Answer: everyone needs to trust the rulebook, agree to follow it, and respect the referee's decision based on the rules. Question: what might happen if the team captains did not agree to refer to the rulebook at all? Answer: the game could stop, the dispute might turn into a fight, or the match might be cancelled without a fair outcome. Question: what challenges do you face in reaching a consensus on rules that everyone agrees with? Answer: challenges include different opinions, disagreements on fairness, and difficulty in balancing everyone's preference. Question: what could be the rule book for a country? How would it be made? Answer: the rule book for a country is its constitution. It would be made by a group of representatives like the Constituent Assembly, discussing and agreeing on laws and values over time. Let's explore activity on page number 215. In small groups, try to find out the names of people from your region who may have participated in the making of the Constitution. What sources can you use to gather this information? Answer: several people participated in making the Indian Constitution. Some key names include Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Chairperson of the Drafting Committee; Jawaharlal Nehru; Dr. Rajendra Prasad, President of the Constituent Assembly; Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel; K.M. Munshi; Aladi Krishnaswamy Iyer; N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar; Maulana Abul Kalam Azad; Sarojini Naidu; Ammu Swaminathan. These individuals were part of the Constituent Assembly which drafted the Constitution from 1946 to 1950. Let's explore activity on page number 221. Read the quotation given below. Write article of the Constitution do you think she was referring to? Why do you think she said that the equality of women was not a new concept for India? Discuss in your class. Question: which article of the Constitution do you think she was referring to? Answer: she was likely referring to Article number 14, Equality before the law, and Article number 15, Prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, which ensure equality for women. Question: why do you think she said that the equality of women was not a new concept for India? Answer: she said this because India's culture and history, like ancient texts and traditions, valued women's equality, though social practices later limited it. The Constitution reaffirmed this old ideal. Let's explore activity on page number 223. There was a time when people were not allowed to fly the national flag at their homes. This changed in 2004 when a citizen felt it was his right to express pride in his country and challenge the rule in court. The Supreme Court agreed, saying that flying the flag is a part of our fundamental right to freedom of expression. We can now fly the tricolor with pride, keeping in mind that it should never be dishonored. We studied the Panchayati Raj system in grade 6th. This was not a part of the original constitution. It was integrated in 1992 with the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. Can you find out these amendments made to the constitution in the past 10 years? Question: when were people allowed to fly the national flag at their homes and why? Answer: people were allowed to fly the national flag at home from 2004 when the Supreme Court ruled it as a fundamental right to freedom of expression. Question: when was the Panchayati Raj system integrated into the constitution? Answer: the Panchayati Raj system was integrated into the constitution in 1992 with the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act. Question: can you find out the amendments made to the constitution in the past 10 years? Answer: over the past 10 years, 2015 to 2025, amendments include the 101st Amendment 2016 for GST, 103rd 2019 for OBC reservations, 104th 2020 for SC/ST seat extensions, 105th 2021 for service terms, and 106th 2023 for women's reservation in legislatures. Let's explore activity on page number 226. Below is a list of features given in the preamble. Read them closely from the image above and write down examples of the application of these values in daily life around you. 2 have been completed to help you with the exercise. Features of the preamble. How we see them in our daily lives. Sovereign. Citizens vote in elections without external interference. Republic. The president is elected by the people, not born into the role. Liberty. People express opinions on social media without fear. Equality. Everyone uses the same public transport with no discrimination. Fraternity. Neighbors help each other during festivals or emergencies. Answers to the questions given at the end of the chapter. Question: the Constituent Assembly had representatives from diverse backgrounds in India. Why do you think it was important to have a diverse set of representatives from all over India? Answer: a diverse Constituent Assembly ensured that people from different regions, cultures, and social groups had a voice. This helped create a constitution that reflects India's varied needs and promotes unity, fairness, and inclusivity. Question: read the statement below carefully and identify which key features, values in the Constitution of India are reflected in each statement. First, Sheena, Rajat, and Harsh are standing in a line. They are excited to cast their first vote in the general elections. Answer: democracy. Voting reflects the democratic right to elect leaders. Second, Radha, Aman, and Harpreet study in the same class in the same school. Answer: Equality, equal access to education shows equality in opportunity. Third, parents must make arrangements to ensure their children's education. Answer, fundamental duty. Parents ensuring education aligns with the duty to provide education to children. Fourth, people of all castes, genders, and religions can use the village well. Answer, justice and equality. Equal access to the village well reflects social justice and equality before the law. Question, it is said that all citizens in India are equal before the law. Do you think this is a fact? If yes, why? If not, why not? Formulate your arguments. Answer, the Constitution ensures equality before the law under Article 14, but in practice it is not fully achieved. Discrimination based on caste, gender, or economic status still exists. Laws aims for fairness, but social and economic inequalities often hinder equal treatment. Efforts like reservations and legal protections help, but gaps remain due to societal attitudes and uneven implementations. Question, you have learned that India is the only country that provided universal adult franchise to its citizens from the beginning. Can you explain why India did it? Answer, India provided universal adult franchise to ensure every adult could vote, promoting democracy and equality. Inspired by the freedom struggle, leaders believed all citizens, regardless of caste, gender, or religion, should have a say in governance to build an inclusive nation. Question, how did the freedom struggle inspire the making of the Constitution of India? How did India's civilizational heritage inspire some of the key features in the Constitution of India? Explain. Answer, the freedom struggle inspired values like equality, justice, and freedom, shaping the Constitution's focus on rights and democracy. India's civilizational heritage, with ideas like Vasudeva Kutumbakam, world is one family, and respect for diversity, influenced features like secularism, equality, and unity in diversity. Question, do you think we as a society have achieved all the ideals of the Constitution? If not, what can we do as citizens to move our country closer to these ideals? Answer, we haven't fully achieved ideals like complete equality and justice due to social inequalities and discrimination. Citizens can promote these ideals by respecting diversity, fighting discrimination, educating others, voting responsibly, and supporting policies that ensure fairness and inclusion. Read the rules carefully to solve the crossword on the next page to uncover important concepts from the Indian Constitution. Across, the branch of government that makes laws, legislature. The part of the Constitution that outlines the duties of the citizen toward the country, fundamental duties. The highest court in India that protects the Constitution, Supreme Court. A system where the head of the state is elected, not hereditary, republic. The process by which the Constitution can be changed over time, amendment. Down, the group of people who wrote the Indian Constitution, Constituent Assembly. the statement at the beginning of the Constitution that tell us the values it upholds. Preamble. The document that lays out the rules and laws of our country. Constitution. The gas used to preserve the original Constitution safely. Helium. Basic rights given to every citizen like freedom and equality. Fundamental rights. More important questions answered. Question: why is January 26 celebrated as Republic Day in India? Answer: it is celebrated because the Constitution of India came into effect on this day in 1950. Question: how is the original copy of the Indian Constitution kept safe? Answer: it is carefully preserved in a special glass case filled with helium gas, which is located in the Parliament. Question: what is the basic definition of our Constitution? Answer: it is a document that lays down the basic principles and laws of our nation, acting as a rule book for the country. Question: what are the main functions of our Constitution? Answer: it defines the roles of the legislature, executive, and judiciary, ensures checks and balances, outlines citizen rights and duties, and sets national goals. Question: why is a constitution compared to a rule book? Answer: like a rule book in a game, a constitution provides clear rules for governance, ensuring fairness and resolving disputes. Question: why do we need a constitution? Answer: a constitution ensures fair governance, prevents arbitrary power, protects citizens' rights, and maintains order and justice. Question: when was the Constituent Assembly formed? Answer: the Constituent Assembly was formed in 1946. Question: how many members were initially in the Constituent Assembly? Answer: the Constituent Assembly initially had 389 members, later reduced to 299 after the partition of India. Question: when was the Constitution of India adopted? Answer: the Constitution of India adopted on November 26, 1949. Question: when did the Constitution of India come into effect? Answer: the Constitution came into effect on January 26, 1950. Question: what is the role of judiciary in the Constitution? Answer: the judiciary ensures laws align with the Constitution and decides on legal disputes and punishments. Question: what is the three-tier system of government in India? Answer: the three-tier system includes central, state, and local Panchayati Raj governments. Question: what are the three organs of government defined by the Constitution? Answer: the three organs are the legislature makes laws, the executive implements laws, and the judiciary interprets laws. Question: what system ensures that no single organ of government becomes too powerful? Answer: a system of checks and balances ensures fairness and accountability among the three organs. Question: what body was created to write the Constitution of India? Answer: the Constituent Assembly formed in 1946 was created to write the Constitution. Question: who was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly? Answer: Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the chairman of Constituent Assembly. Question: who was the chairman of the drafting committee? Answer: Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. Question: what were some of the major influences that shaped the Indian Constitution? Answer: it was influenced by the ideals of the Indian freedom struggle, India's own civilizational heritage, and useful ideas from the constitutions of other countries. Question: what are fundamental rights in the Constitution? Answer: fundamental rights are enforceable rights like equality before the law and freedom that citizens can seek court protection for. Question: what are fundamental duties in the Constitution? Answer: fundamental duties are responsibilities like respecting the national flag and preserving cultural heritage added in 1976. Question: what are directive principles of state policy DPSP? Answer: DPSP are non-enforceable guidelines for the government to promote social, economic and environmental justice. Question: which country's constitutions inspired the ideals of liberty, equality and fraternity? Answer: these ideals were adopted from the Constitution of France. Question: what is the difference between fundamental rights and directive principles? Answer: fundamental rights are promises that must be kept and can be protected in a court of law, while directive principles are goals for the government to work towards and can't be enforced in court. Question: what does it mean that the Constitution is a living document? Answer: it means that the Constitution can be changed or amended over time to adapt to the changing needs of the country. Question: what is a change made to Constitution called? Answer: a change or modification to the Constitution is called an amendment. Question: besides being a legal document, what else is the Constitution? Answer: it's Answer: it is also a work of art with handwritten calligraphy by Prem Bihari Naren Raizada and illustrations by Nandlal Bose. Question: what is the preamble of the Constitution? Answer: the preamble is the introduction that contains the guiding values and core philosophy of the Constitution. Question: what famous words does the preamble begin with? Answer: it begins with the word "we, the people of India." Question: what does it mean that India is a secular state? Answer: it means that citizens have the freedom to follow any religion and the government treats all religious beliefs with equal respect. Question: what does the term republic signify in the preamble? Answer: it signifies that the head of the state, the president, is an elected person and not a hereditary ruler like a king or queen. Question: what are the four guiding values that the preamble seeks to provide to all citizens? Answer: the four values are justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. Question: what does it mean that the India is a secular state? Answer: it means that the citizens have the freedom to follow any religion and the government treats all religious beliefs with equal respect. Question: why is the Constitution called a living document? Answer: it is called as a living document because it can be amended to address new societal needs, ensuring its relevance. Question: when were fundamental duties added to the Constitution? Answer: fundamental duties were added in 1976 through the 42nd Constitutional Amendment. Question: when was the Panchayati Raj system integrated into the Constitution? Answer. The Panchayati Raj system was integrated in 1992 through the 73rd Constitutional Amendment. Hope this video is informative for you. Please like and share and subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.